In this video, we are going to talk about 10 most dangerous leaders of all time. So before starting this video, please like this video, and subscribe to our channel for the future updates. Since the beginning of human history, there have been power conflicts and wars. Even now, we face difficulties with both internal conflict and foreign relations. However, twisted political figures have held office on multiple times. Leaders like Genghis Khan and Adolf Hitler committed terrible horrors by going well beyond the line between war and genocide. Even while we hope that history doesn't repeat itself, it's crucial that we remember our past, including the worst moments. These rulers were some of the most dreadful despots in human history. Which do you find to be the most frightful? Here's a list of the 10 most dangerous leaders of all time. Let's start. Number 10. Pol Pot. Between 1976 through 1979, the notorious Pol Pot, a Cambodian rebel, and later politician, was Prime Minister of that country. Pol Pot, a prominent figure in the communist organization known as the Khmer Rouge, is categorized as a Marxist-Leninist in his political beliefs, as well as a Khmer nationalist. He even managed to hold the position of General Secretary of the Communist Party of Kampuchea between 1963 and 1981. Pol Pot, who was known for his disregard for human life, later expelled significant portions of the Cambodian populace before being overthrown by the Vietnamese army in 1978. Even though Pol Pot's soldiers fought the newly installed Marxist-Leninist regime for several decades, ill health eventually compelled him to relinquish many of his leadership positions. In 1998, he passed away. Number 9. Leopold II. From 1865 through 1909, Leopold II, the second monarch of Belgium, ruled as king. Leopold II, who was born in Brussels to Leopold I and Louise of Orleans, succeeded to the throne at age 30, after the passing of his father, and ruled his country for 44 years, making him the longest reigning monarch in Belgian history. Leopold tried to keep up with other European nations' imperialistic goals after seizing control of Belgium by seizing power and founding the Congo Free State, in the modern-day Democratic Republic of the Congo. Leopold claimed over 770,000 square kilometers of land, hoping to build a colony there to increase Belgium's fame and fortune on the international scene, all in the name of humanitarianism and supposed philanthropy. Number 8. Adolf Hitler. Nazi Germany was ruled by the notorious Adolf Hitler, an Austrian-born autocrat, from 1933 until 1945. Hitler utilized the humiliating German defeat in the First World War to whip up the populace into a ferocious and angry frenzy when he first came to power in the 1920s, during the interwar period. Hitler, a charismatic orator who used propaganda to advance pan-Germanism, anti-Semitism, and anti-communism, soon seized power in Germany with widespread support, becoming the Chancellor in 1933 and Führer by 1934. Hitler immediately got to work on a rearmament program and an aggressive foreign policy strategy, which ultimately caused the Second World War to start and become the worst global conflict in human history. Hitler's racial ideology and contempt for non-Aryans had utterly destroyed most of Europe's social, economic, and political systems by the time of his death, by suicide, in 1945. Number 7. Vladimir Lenin. Lenin, or Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, had political opinions that were always disobedient. He advocated for the replacement of capitalism with socialism and was outspoken about his communist beliefs. Lenin recognized his opportunity in 1917, with the overthrow of the Russian Tsar and the establishment of a provisional government. He took control that October after organizing his own revolution. After withdrawing from World War I and redistributing territory around the nation, things started to become worse. He was ruthless in his treatment of his opponents, murdering thousands of them in concentration camps while ignoring the starvation and destitution that befell his people. Lenin allegedly showed a frightening indifference for the suffering of his countrymen during this time of revolution, war, and starvation, and ruthlessly suppressed any opposition. Number 6. Joseph Stalin. Between 1924 and 1953, Joseph Stalin, a revolutionary from Georgia, held the position of General Secretary of the Soviet Union. Stalin, who came from a low-income family in the Gori city, finally joined the Marxist Russian Social Democratic Labour Party, where he met Vladimir Lenin for the first time. Stalin, who joined the Bolsheviks as a full-fledged member, was crucial in the overthrow of Tsar Nicholas II and the establishment of a one-party system in 1917. Stalin's service in the ensuing Russian Civil War won him multiple promotions, which helped him consolidate a significant amount of authority in the years that followed. Stalin took over the Soviet Union shortly after Lenin's passing in 1924 and soon implemented a number of social, economic, and political programs to solidify and secure his newfound position. Number 5. Attila the Hun. The famed Attila the Hun lived in the Hunnic Empire, which was close to modern-day Hungary. He enjoyed encroaching on other civilizations a lot. He successfully overran Byzantine imperial invasions, wreaked havoc in the Balkans, and tried numerous unsuccessful but incredibly devastating raids on Western Roman Empire, Roman Gaul, and Italy. He didn't win, but he was a tough opponent thanks to his aggressive strategies and willingness to battle. He burned down much of Italy before passing away, and if he had lived, he probably would have continued to pillage his way across the continent. He unexpectedly passed away off the battlefield from unknown internal hemorrhage the night before his wedding, one of several. Number 4. Genghis Khan. Between 1206 through 1227, the infamous Genghis Khan served as the Great Khan and founder of the Mongol Empire. Early in the 13th century, Genghis first rose to prominence by uniting the nomadic tribes of Northeast Asia and claiming universal sovereignty over the entire Mongol population. Genghis Khan launched the Mongol invasions into Asia, and eventually Europe, not long after he came to power, conquering the great bulk of Eurasia and portions of northeastern Africa. Genghis Khan was able to start significant social, economic, and political reforms across his seized domains by the time of his death in August 1227, which spanned over 23 million square kilometers in terms of size. Genghis Khan cemented his image as one of history's greatest conquerors and emerged as one of the most cruel leaders thanks to the tremendous amount of death and destruction unleashed by his mounted warriors. Number 3. Julius Caesar. Caligula, another name for Julius Caesar, wasn't always hated. He abolished an overly high sales tax at first and released residents who had been wrongly imprisoned, but as time went on, his health deteriorated. His demeanor fundamentally changed, and historians speculate that he experienced many minor strokes and may have experienced despair. Among other evil deeds, he murdered his opponents and made their parents watch. His political moves became more audacious. A group of 60 senators eventually toppled him. Because in this instance, killed implies toppled. He received 23 stabbings, terminating his crucial position in Roman society. Number 2. Mao Zedong. The notorious Mao Zedong is at the top of the list of the worst dictators in history. The People's Republic of China, PRC, was founded by Mao, a Chinese communist revolutionary who also served as its leader from 1949 to 1976. Mao, who adhered to the political philosophy known as Maoism, which was highly influenced by Marxist-Leninist ideas, came out on top after the Second World War and the Chinese Civil War, establishing a one-party system in the years that followed. Mao launched his Great Leap Forward, socialist education movement, and cultural revolution campaigns in an effort to quickly consolidate power and stability for his newly acquired position. This economic transformation of China's economy from an agrarian to an industrial one was a crucial element of any communist society. Although he later received accolades from a variety of people and organizations for helping China rise to become a major global power, his repressive policies had a catastrophic impact on both human life and persecution. Number 1. Qin Shi Huang. You guessed it. Qin Shi Huang was the first emperor of the Qin dynasty. Because he was such a cruel dictator, the elementary school taunt, "First is the worst," comes to mind. He put academics to death if they disagreed with him. Books that dissented with his opinions were burned. An enormous mausoleum with an army of life-size terracotta soldiers was also built by him, as well as the first Great Wall, which was a scaled-down version of the one we know today. Despite the fact that many conscripts lost their lives building the wall, it was preferable to serve on the defenses. In contrast, those who built the mausoleum were immediately executed after their labor was over in order to conceal the grave. He decided to castrate prisoners of war and sell them into slavery in addition to the carelessly ordered deaths. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.